It is also important to see the different distributions of the individual variables in your data. To do this, we can make use of the histogram. So we just make a plot, plt.subplots, and then the x should make use of the hist function. And now we are going to provide the data. So the data should be one of the variables, which is one of the columns in our data. If you're not working in the interactive window, you should now write plt.show to show the figure. Well, here we see that we have put the different values of this variable into different bins. So in this bin, we have 2 values. This bin, we have 1 value. This bin, we have 8 values, and so on. The important thing when you look at a histogram is the distribution. So in this case, we might expect a log normal distribution because we are looking at the price, and the log normal distribution cannot be below 0. So, and that is often how prices work. They are often not below 0. And secondly, we are looking for these gaps. So if you have like a huge gap in your data, you should think about whether or not this instance is an outlier, which is a kind of false informational data point, or that you are missing some data, or that this outlier actually is a valid data point. To enhance this figure, we can put these values into more bins. If you have a lot of data, then if you have many bins, you can see like a very smooth distribution here. So the way that you increase the number of bins is that you provide the figure, the axes, the subplots, and then x.hist, and then you provide the data, the price. But in this hist function, you can specify the color. So now we are specifying a hexadecimal color. Let's see here which color we should take. I think we are just copying a color here. And bins equals to, for example, 20. So this is the number of bins that you are using. And we are just sending this to our terminal. And here you see that we have a lot more bins. One of the benefits of using a histogram is that you can compare the distribution of 2 groups, for example. So let's do that. We make fig axes plt.subplots, and now we need 2 plots in one figure. So we just write n rows equals 2. So now we have one figure on top of the other. So we kind of make a column of figures. And what we also need is the fig size could be set equal to 10, 10, for example. This will make the text here a bit smaller because we are going to add some legends. or some titles, I mean. But when you have two figures in one plot, then you have to specify which of the axis objects that you are going to populate. So remember that the first object or the first element in any object or series is at index number 0. So axis 0 means the first figure. And here we want a histogram, and we want the data to be price. And you have learned how to subset, and we are going to subset on city. Oops, that was parking, like so. And the city should be equal to, for example, Oslo. Okay. You can also add some color, and you can write, for example, dark blue. You can have bins equal to, for example, 20, and then we just copy this and we make one for Trondheim. And we make that dark red. And now we can set titles, because if we just run it like this, we will have, oops, 2 in 1. We have to have axis equal to 1 here. Now we have 1 blue and 1 dark red, but we do not know which one is which. So we should add a title, axis 0, and the set title should be Oslo, and axis 1 set title should be Trondheim. So now if we run this, we see that we have Oslo here and Trondheim here. And one problem is that these are not exactly comparable, because we can see that the scale here, the x-axis, is a bit different. So we can add the x-axis. So we just type range, and that should be equal to, not the parentheses, but the square brackets, 0 to 10 million. And we do the same here. Now we have to have this one, and we do the same here. Range equals to 0 to 10 million. So let's see how this looks like, or what this looks like. Okay, so here you have Oslo, and here you have Trondheim prices. And you see that, well, it seems like Oslo prices are a bit above the Trondheim prices.